Hey everyone, it's Catherine Donovan. Sorry if I'm talking in this monotone, but boy, yesterday I discovered some sort of freaky, well, it's a true and yet scary tale, and it's told by infamous screenwriter Max Landis. You probably heard of his name. He's the writer that did Chronicle and the 2015 film Victor Frankenstein. And you must be wondering, that guy? No way! Yeah, way. He had a story on the No Sleep Reddit page of his. I'm not kidding. This actually happened to him. At first, I didn't know it was him until I looked at the video again, and I was shocked. This story was submitted from Max Landis, the screenwriter? The movie screenwriter? The guy that did Victor Frankenstein? I was so surprised. Like, the story seems so surreal. I never imagined he would post a story on Reddit. It's kind of amazing. So, this is some sort of encounter that he had with someone who is going to be an inspiring actress. But things deteriorate from there. Here's the story. He narrates on about working with people and sharing his ideas. However, he also expressed his thoughts about a tongue and also arteries and blood and how you can see it and smell it, and it makes you want to gag a bit. It sounds kind of creepy at first. You're probably wondering, why is he mentioning about tongues and arteries and blood? That's when he was on his way at a meeting, and he had his GPS. However, his GPS was acting funny, and he mistakenly arrived at the wrong area. Or at least he seems, because he didn't see any signs anywhere. However, he did spotted someone. Well, as he clarifies, his, or rather, her legs. This girl's legs. This was a girl, so sorry for the mistake. So, here's what happened. Max looked out to see the pretty girl, and he decided, you know what, if I'm at the wrong place at the wrong time, oh well. And hey, I'm single, so I must be looking for someone. So he parked his car in the parking lot, and then he stepped out and walked over to the girl. The girl seemed normal at first. She was pretty, and as Max described her, as someone that looked a little like someone from the 1920s. She had no makeup, and she had a sort of look to Christina Ricci. I don't know, buddy. I don't know anyone would look as pretty like Christina Ricci or look like her. But hey, you'll never know. As Max got closer, he couldn't help himself but laugh, and said to the girl, "I wish you could see what I'm seeing now." The girl asked, "Are you laughing at me?" But Max said, No, you just look like someone from the 1920s. It's so surreal." The girl looked a little sad as she said, "Oh, yeah." Then she looked towards the door and saw some angry guy with a tucked pink shirt, buttoned up, and he was talking with someone on the phone. Max couldn't help but ask of what this street was. The girl ignored him as she stated something rather forlorn and depressing. "I'm going to die out here. I know it. I just know it," she says. That threw Max off for a bit. He didn't know what to say. This poor girl, I'm telling you, she looks kind of sad. However, that's when things got a bit dark. Well, not completely, but it almost did. See, what happened was the girl shivered, as if Los Angeles was a little chilly on this day. She covered herself, wrapped her arms around herself. And the dress she wore, it was pretty loose because the straps, when undone, it fall off and expose one of her breasts. Max was too stunned. He couldn't look away. He didn't know what to think. And as guys do, something in their brain somehow triggers. But he didn't do anything, so don't worry. Then he began to notice the girl. Her feet looked dirty, and her toenails looked like they've been bloodied, as if they were torn off in such a painful manner. Then the girl finally managed to adjust her dress a bit, but she kept ranting on to Max, saying, I walked all the way from home. I was living in my friend's car, and we drove all the way here from San Francisco. I'm going to be an actress. I get so worked up, you know? She kept saying all these really strange, cryptic and eerie things. And Max, he was concerned and trying to talk to her, asking if she was okay, trying to be nice. He didn't want to do anything to provoke the situation. But he was a bit shaken by this girl and her comments. She didn't, at first, Max thought, oh, she must be drunk because she hasn't noticed her feet or her appearance, and she didn't even look flustered or even react to how one of her straps fell off. And the girl didn't seem to care. So this girl wore a dress, a hat, and she had no shoes and no underwear. No, really. He mentioned that she didn't wear any underwear underneath, which he thinks that she's either high on something or maybe drunk. But this is where things get really, really creepy. She keeps talking about how she gets a little worked up and how she was going to be an actress. Then she pulls out her phone and then she smashes it against the door. Now that there is where things got edgy. That's when the girl looked up at Max. Then she stood up. Well, before this, some old lady called out to Max to just leave the girl alone and she's going through issues. So anyway, now to this currently, she stood up, points a finger at Max and goes, "What's your name?" And Max managed to stammer out, Max. Then she held out these cards towards him. She must have done them herself. And she's like, "Take these. Hold on to these. Tell everyone about this. Tell everyone about me." You guys may think she's drunk or something, but this part is the freakiest shit I've ever heard and seen. And this was from a video on MoonRaven, who has returned. But onto this freaky shit part. So this is what the girl does. She sticks her tongue out, her long pink tongue, and bites it. There was saliva and blood at first, which shocked Max, but what shocked him even further is that she bit it down again and again until her tongue fell off. I'm not kidding. It wasn't fake. It wasn't like some sort of fake movie. She actually bit it off so hard. I was like, oh my God. And she had blood coming out of her mouth. and she looked up in victorious. But the interpretation that MoonRaven did looked like, well, it looked like she looked insane. But when she realized what she'd done, she was looking for her tongue and she was trying to talk, but all she was saying was just some untangible words. She couldn't even speak because of her tongue was missing, and she looked for it. She managed to find it, but during that time, she was bleeding so much, and then her loose dress just came off and was at her ankles. She was crying and she was just bleeding, naked, but she tried to attack Max, and Max just jumped back in horror, like, oh, like he was just startled. And he watched as the police came and took the crying girl, who didn't even fight back. And the guy, Max, actually held on to the cards still. And I guess that's the reason why he mentioned about tongues and arteries and blood. I still can't believe that story is on Reddit. I can't believe he posted it. Now that is the most freakiest thing. And he ends this on a really scary tone where he knows the name of the girl that's on there. And he has like this dark feeling that he feels like he can hear footsteps. And he has a feeling that the girl might find them in the drawer that he has hidden in them to get them back. My God. After watching that video, I couldn't help but wonder, what the hell did I just watch? Please tell me this wasn't like some staged out plan out. I looked it up, and sure enough, it was on Reddit. I mean, but after I watched the video, I had to find it again and figure out, was it really fake? But it wasn't. It was on Reddit. I was like, no way. So it was real. And it was Max Landis. It took me a while to process who this guy was narrating. The story was actually the screenwriter. And I know what you guys are thinking. Really? It took you that long to figure out? Listen, when I see a story, I don't think too much of who's telling the story. I don't even believe it's just normal people. If there was a freaky story written by Marina and the Diamonds or Avril Lavigne that actually happened, I would have had a front row seat reading that. But it goes to show you that even screenwriters, movie directors, and other people experience the weirdest shit around. And there's a lot of emotionally stable people like that girl. I don't know much about that girl, but maybe she might get some help first before she starts making it as an actress. I mean, there are actresses out there that struggle with mental illness, and I don't have a problem, and I'm not saying this girl should hide her illness, no. But I'm saying that kind of stuff, I don't know, that could be kind of freaky for people to experience. Nobody wants to see anyone bite their tongue off and that sort of thing. It's just so horrifying. In all my life, I never seen anyone bite their tongue off, clean off. And it wasn't cliche or anything. I don't know if anybody could even do that. That girl must have really strong teeth or something. That's crazy. I wouldn't be crazy enough to do that. So what do you guys think of this story I mentioned? Do you think it's kind of a little freaky? Do you ever think that maybe not Hollywood is all glamorous as it says to be? Have you had any scary experiences? Let me know. Thank you for watching.